into yourself. So you set your intention. You know, on our Saturday Sister, we already are teaching our young goddesses how to manifest what they want. We are goddesses. That's not just a title, you know, that we give to one another. That is your, we are calling you by your actual, what you actually are. And you are able to manifest and call in all the things that you need. And you do that by first setting your intention. So you're clear. And as you are reconnecting with the divine energies, you're very clear on what you're calling into yourself or what you are releasing for yourself, because you can also use a spiritual bath to release. So you set your intention and you are going to set a beautiful space. I wish I had a space that I could set up for you. My space is not really conducive to that right now, but soon and very soon. But you're going to set up your cleansing space, your sacred bath space, by cleansing both physically. You're going to be cleansing with all natural cleansers. Remember from our previous time together, none of those toxic cleansers. You can't be laying in a spiritual bath, calling in all the energies of the universe, sniffing Clorox. So you're going to cleanse your space physically. You are going to cleanse your space spiritually. So you're going to, you know, burn your frankincense, your myrrh, palo santo. You're going to burn sage, whatever you use to cleanse your space. If it's not a space where you can burn something, you can also diffuse those same oils or diffuse those same substances, but to energetically cleanse and prepare your space. And that actually becomes part of the beauty of it as you are bringing out the towels, you know, your very soft towels. Because remember, this is a ritual and this is something, just like we bring our very best. You know, when you go to church, if you still go to church, you go to service, you would put on your Sunday best, because that's because you were bringing your best to the creator, your best representation. You're going to bring out your very best. So as you're gathering your journal and your pen, because you're going to have some things come up and you're going to need that, you bring out, you know, your softest towel, your softest robes, the candles that you like. You want candles around your ritual space, because this is, like I said, not your ordinary bath. It is something very sacred and very special. So once you have your, you know, if you're going to be burning incense, you're definitely going to be burning candles, depending on what you're working with. If you're not sure which one, white, you can choose white as a default candle to use. Um, but once again, you have your space all beautified. It's looking nice. It is smelling nice. And then you're going to prepare your bath. Now, we're going to prepare a ritual bath here, but I'll just kind of finish the process for you. But then you're going to start running your water. You may place crystals in there. You may, like I said, you know, burning your incense or your candles. However, you're setting up that space, you may put fresh flowers or dried flowers in that bath. All the things that you can do to bring in uh, definitely a feeling of whatever you're trying to to transmute, whatever you're trying to bring out. Listen to yourself. Your intuition will tell you what you need, and what you need might not be the same as what I need. And I always tell everyone, look around and you work with what you have. You don't have to go and get something special, because you have everything that you need. Now, me, I'm a little extra. So when I do mine, I'm like, I'm looking for, oh, I do have a little silver cup. I want my silver cup to scoop out my salts. You know, I want my pretty little crystal cup to pour in my oils, because you can pour oils directly into, you know, your bath as well. But all of these things are layers upon layers of creating your sacred space with you and yourself. You want to clear out time. You don't want to try and do your sacred bath in the middle of the day when you have to run, you know, grab the children from school, or, you know, where you're going to be rushed afterwards, because it is a ritual, and you do want to be able to take time, because as things come up, you want to be able to, in a safe space, in a relaxed space with no hurry, no rush, you want to be able to take care of yourself when those things come up. So this is definitely a luxurious time. So after you've put the young ones to bed, maybe the old ones to bed, this is your time for you. And like I said, you run your water, you put your, your salts and your herbs and your oils in your bath, and then you get in your bath. But make sure you've already cleansed yourself, like you've already had like a pre-shower, or a pre-bath. So you're not getting into your bath like after the day's kind of happenings or the day's work. So you're placing, because it's not a bath where you're just like scrubbing off the day's dirt. You're getting rid of spiritual, mental, and emotional debris in this bath. So you get into your bath. How long you soak is pretty much up to you. You soak until you feel like you are done. And you are doing those wonderful breathing exercise, the breath work that Mama G has so lovingly taught us. And you are letting whatever happens, happens. If you need to cry, if you need to laugh, just whatever comes to you will come to you. And you can write it down. You can, maybe you just kind of want to hold and marinate with that and then write it down after your bath. You do what is most conducive for you. I find it really beneficial to also have like music playing. I prefer like the Hertz music. So, it might be 432, or I think it's either 530 or 528. I'm not quite sure. But you may want to have that playing. Everything that you're doing is a layer of the experience that you're having. Trust your intuition. I love the fact that a sister told me, yesterday, she's like, you don't have to Google anything. You already know what you know. So listen to yourself. This is a great time to settle in with yourself and just let it come to the surface of what you need or what you don't need. So if you're calling things into yourself, just allow yourself to be very, very open to whatever comes to you. No expectations. You're not calling out for anything in particular. You're just allowing. You've already set your intention. You don't have to keep reminding. You set the intention already, but you allow whatever is going to come to you, whomever is going to come to you, you allow that to happen. If this is something, a ritual bath where you are releasing, then let it go. You know, um, when your bath is over and that water is leaving the drain, that kind of gurgling sound that it makes, and it creates a whirlpool. It's a beautiful thing the way it is. It's a clockwise whirlpool. Look at your drain the next time it's a clockwise whirlpool that it's happening. And whatever you are releasing, just imagine that it is going down the drain. I don't know that any of us can go and retrieve something back once it's gone down the drain. I mean, not without like a snake and a plunger and some more stuff. And why would you do all that when you've already released it? So just imagine whatever you are releasing, it is in the water. It is flowing away from you because it no longer serves you. And it is going down the drain. And you are not going to do any mental or emotional gymnastics to go back and retrieve that thing. And then you can, however you air dry, towel dry yourself, get yourself, comfortable, and spend some time in meditation, spend some time journaling. Still, with the candlelight, if it helps you to stare into the candle, then do that. If it helps you to continue with the Hertz, then do that. If you are called to just be in silence and just let, the gentle voice of the Creator come to you in silence, then you do that. And that is how you do just a basic, get your crystals before you open the drain. You might lose your favorite crystal. Get your crystal out. But that is how you would perform just a very basic sacred and ritual bath of calling in or releasing. So you might say, well, Sister Anu, well, I don't have any special ritual bath stuff, but of course you do. You set your intentions, and once you set the intentions, everything that you use is has the purpose that it was intended for. So today we are going to make that ritual bath. In the descriptions, I told you a few ingredients you were going to need, and I will go over them briefly now. You're going to need this is your Epsom salt. I know you feel like we use Epsom salt for anything and everything, but it is such a wonderful salt. You know, all salts are not created equal. And Epsom salt is very high in minerals. So not only is it very cleansing and detoxing, it's very good for the skin. So low vibrations and low energies cling to impurities in our body, which is why it's another reason it's very important to keep your bodies clean, keep your mind clean, keep your internal self clean, because negative and low vibrations will cling to waste. And Epsom salt is a wonderful cleanser. It is full of magnesium and other minerals, and it is just great at pulling those toxins out of the skin. Don't worry if it's like I didn't see anything. Well, you're not supposed to. Everything is not visible to this eye. Sometimes you have to look at it with that eye, your first eye. So we have Epsom salt. We also have today. I listed, you can use whatever, but you use whatever salt you have. It as long as it's not like that salt in the blue box. If you have sea salt, you can use sea salt. Sea salt has wonderful properties. It also has many minerals that are wonderful, because you're going to have those minerals coming into the body, but you'll also have those minerals that are detoxing the body at the same time. It's a wonderful exchange. I have, this is pink Himalayan, but instead of being the fine ground, this is just the coarse. I just like it because I like a little different texture. So I mix the two. So I have the Epsom salt and I have the pink Himalayan. I also have uh, baking soda, which is an excellent for skin softening. And I just like the way it adds a nice slip in with the tub, into the bath. You can use whatever oil you want. Today I'm using just some coconut oil. You can use jojoba, you can use olive oil, you can use avocado oil, just whatever plant-based oil, preferably organic, that you have. And we're going to be using some essential oils. I always like a little color, and I have these little plant-based. They're not, it looks like food coloring, but it's not food coloring. These are plant-based, and um, they're specific for food and body. They're non-toxic. Most of your food coloring that you buy, like if you just go and get like over in the baking section and get those dyes, I would not use those because they are coal tar based, and coal tar is toxic. And you'll see on it, it'll say red dye number 40, blue, I think it's blue lake number 10. It's right there on the back. So you're literally adding toxins to your cupcakes and your little dyed eggs and all that. So don't use those. Buy the ones that are vegetable based. They cost a bit more, but they're better for you. They're better for the environment. And we've already said that we're not going to be bringing any more toxins in our home. So we are going to get started. I'm going to, well, you know what? Let me talk a little bit about the oils that we're going to use, because we're going to use quite a few today. You can use one of these, all of these, some of these. It is your choice. I just want you to know which oils that I chose today and what that particular oil does and why I'm calling upon that particular oil. And that's another thing. You can use herbs, you can use flowers, fresh or dried. You can use oils, crystals, and you really can create this beautiful garden environment right there in your in your tub. So you don't have to go some special place to be in an oasis. You can do that right there in your own sanctuary. So the first oil I was called upon to use today was wild orange. And of course, I don't have to show you, but I'm a I'm a doTERRA girl. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. I'm only gonna be using the very best because I'm worth the very best. I don't know about you, but I'm top tier over here. So wild orange is a great oil. Any of the citruses always bring about a feeling of upliftment. Whenever you smell a citrus, it could be the orange or grapefruit or a lemon. There's always this feeling of upliftment because they literally capture, certain vibrations like from the sun, but they always leave you with a sense of upliftment. That's just what a citrus oil will do. Wild orange in particular not only lifts the mood, but it also um, brings with it abundance and creativity. So, we always want to stimulate that particular, vibration within ourselves to be creative, to be joyful and abundant because it's all for us. So during this new moon, we're going to be calling in really every day. We're going to be calling in abundance, abundance of joy, abundance of spirit, abundance of, come on now, fiat. We are going to just call in abundance with this oil, wild orange. The second oil we'll be using today is, I pronounce this as ylang ylang. I don't know how you pronounce it, but you know what I'm talking about. Ylang ylang is a wonderful, I love it. It's kind of a sensuous smelling oil. It's a very earthy smelling oil, but ylang ylang is the oil that they call it the oil of the inner child. So no matter how old we are, how many rotations around the sun that we all have an inner child. And ylang ylang really helps with that. It is a remedy to help your heart reconnect. And when we were children and there was a time when there was this sense of this innocence and you were connected, hopefully you were, with yourself and with your environment, with those around you. Well, as we grow older, then you sometimes lose that connection. Life happens and we kind of lose that connection. And ylang ylang helps the heart reconnect with your inner child. And it's those pure and simple ways of the heart. Sometimes as we get older, we get very involved with all these layers of things that go on with the heart. But that pure and simple inner child essence, ylang ylang will help you reconnect with that inner child. And it's always important, but it's going to be important during this Gemini new moon. And then we're going to have lemon. Remember, lemon, I told you, is one of those citruses. So, of course, lemon is going to be refreshing. It is going to be uplifting. But lemon is also an oil that engages the mind and it changes your concentration. It supports your physical body. Now, we know lemon is good for cleansing. So, every day we're putting lemon in our water to help detox the body, helps cleanse. Well, lemon helps with mental clarity and it teaches you to be mentally present. If you're a person who's always, in the past, in the future, somewhere else, and it's very difficult for you to be in the moment and present in your physical body right now, lemon is a great oil for that because it's going to bring you back to front and center. And it also uh, not only helps with mental clarity, mentally being present, but it helps you to focus on one thing at a time. So, of course, if you are present and you're here right now, whatever's right here in front of you, everything to the left, to the right, whatever happened before or what's going to happen next is of no consequence. I just need to pay attention to what's right in front of me. That lemon is going to help you with that. And it also dispels confusion. A lot of times we have kind of a fog going on. Lemon is going to cut through that. It is so crisp, and it's going to cut through that for you and bring you to a point of clarity. That's our lemon oil. Next, we have lavender. Now remember, if you don't have these, then don't use these. Just use the ones that you have. Lavender, of course, we all think of lavender as that calming oil. It helps us sleep. It helps bring our 10 to a 2. And yes, lavender does all of that. But lavender is also an oil of communication. How are you communicating? How are you getting, your thoughts out, your desires out? And communication is a two-way street. So how are you understanding? That's part of your communication. So lavender aids in your verbal expression. It calms the mind, especially insecurities. Now, remember that during this Gemini new moon, if there are things that you are unsure and uncertain or insecure about, lavender is going to help with that. Whatever it is, it could be, maybe you have an insecurity about your own person, maybe you have an insecurity about your situation. Whatever you're feeling insecure about, lavender is going to support you with that. It also supports releasing tension and constriction, which is one of the reasons it is such a wonderful oil to relax, right? You think about relaxation, you're releasing tension, you're releasing the constriction, taking that deep breath. That is what lavender is going to help you with. And that's why we're adding it today. Our next oil is going to be geranium. Now, geranium, as a doula, geranium is, I don't go to any births. I'm not going anywhere without my geranium. It is a wonderful oil to use for, birthing moms. It is in my I have a blend that I use for labor, and also when moms are getting postpartum massages, I always include geranium. It is a wonderful feminine oil. It does so many things for us as goddesses. But specifically, the property that I'm calling upon today is geranium is the oil of love and trust. Now, I don't know if you're seeing a pattern here. If communication, releasing, inner child, love and trust. Well, if you don't trust, then you can't love. You can't love if you can't be present. You can't trust if you can't be present because you're off somewhere else. So geranium is going to help with that. It restores your confidence in the innate goodness of people, because sometimes circumstances happen either in our personal life or around us. We see so much going on, you know, people going in just senseless violence. And, I want to say my heart goes out to those families who have lost their loved ones because they went to get milk at the grocery store and didn't come back. Or those parents who sent their children to school and they didn't come back. You know, all of that can cause us to lose our faith in basic humanity, just the innate goodness of people. And geranium will help to restore that because it supports that love and trust. And trust, that's trust. It's not trust if you can see it. It's trust is when you can't see it. You're trusting in the things that you can't see. That's where the trust piece comes in. So it also facilitates trust, especially, like I said, if you've lost that trust in others due to either a difficult time in your life or difficult circumstances around you. And it stimulates emotional honesty, love, and forgiveness. So if you need to give that to someone else or you need to offer that for yourself, geranium is the oil that will help you do that. Now, mind you, all of these oils, none of them are like magically going to pull any of this out of you. You have to set the intention. You do the work, but the oils are remarkable. It's like you take one step, they take five in helping you achieve those goals. So geranium, restoring love and trust, whoever that love and trust is for, either you or for others or for a situation, geranium. The next oil is grapefruit. another one of those citruses. So we know it is going to be, of course, very stimulating, very uplifting. But today, grapefruit we're using because grapefruit aids in honoring the body, your physical form, your body. And so many of us have gotten into the practice that we don't honor our form. We're very judgmental up here, and we have these thoughts and these feelings about something being wrong with our physical temple. And because of that, we do harmful things, whether committing violence against ourselves or allowing harm to come to us because we have lost sight of respect and honoring and protecting our physical bodies. Grapefruit is going to help with that. So if you are caught in any patterns of self abuse, it could be extreme dieting, it could be just really, uh, there's nothing wrong with, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with like waist training or wanting to look good or any of those things. But if you do that to the detriment of your body and you don't feel beautiful unless you have it, then you may be caught in a pattern of not honoring your body just as it is, perfection, because there is no other just like yours. Grapefruit will help with that. So if you're in a pattern of judging or allowing yourself to be negatively judged, then you definitely want to include the grapefruit oil in this bath. And lastly, I think that's no, next to last, we have bergamot or bergamot. I don't know. It's a beautiful oil. It smells so wonderful. I think bergamot is actually, I think it's the citrus orange is the like the peel, and then the bergamot is the leaves, I believe, of the plant. Don't quote me. But it has a wonderful citrusy aroma, and the bergamot is the oil of self-acceptance. So, um, if you are having feelings of despair, self-judgment, low self-esteem, it will definitely support you and anyone needing support around self-acceptance. And you have to think about that. If you can't accept yourself, how are you actually accepting? How do you actually feel about other people? You are the goddess that you know. This is the temple that you live in. And you or we all have to learn how to be so honoring and accepting of ourselves. So the bergamot and the grapefruit really will go hand in hand. It invites you to see life with optimism, because when you have this joy and this beautiful feeling of accepting and loving and adoring yourself, then life has a whole different optimistic view. It's really hard to be optimistic when you don't accept yourself because you can't get away from you. So bergamot or bergamot will help this. It also has a cleansing effect on any stagnant energy, stagnant feelings, and any limiting belief systems. So when you think about things that are stagnant, they are stuck. Stagnant usually indicates a dying system. In biology, if a system doesn't move, it becomes stagnant and it dies. So you look at a river, if that water doesn't move, then algae and leaves and things will start to collect there, and that's called a dying system. It's stagnant, it's not moving. You can get that energetically within yourself, and as you can imagine, that's not a positive situation. You want things to move, and bergamot will help with that. And it also helps with self-limiting beliefs. There are no limits. We don't have any limits, but we can place limits on ourselves, like, oh, I really can't do that. I don't know. So it's something a little different than confidence, but it's just removing those limiting beliefs, those boxes that we place ourselves in consciously and unconsciously. And it does that by helping to change your core beliefs. If you have a belief, if you're putting yourself in a box, that means you have a core belief that is an erroneous core belief about yourself, something that's not accurate, because we don't have any limits. Whatever you need to manifest, you can manifest. Whatever you need to do, whatever you need to move, you can do that, but you can't do that until you remove the self-limiting belief. That box that you've set up for yourself, or that glass ceiling that you have created for yourself. And it also generates movements and energies in the system, creating hope. And if you think about hope, hope is very energetic. There is no such thing as hope and stillness or hope and lowness. Hope is, that's a very high vibrational thing to have hope. Bergamot will do all of those for you. So I would definitely add that one. Now, our very last one was an oil, quite honestly, that I didn't use a lot until I went to a retreat, Daughters of Drew Ali. Hey, sisters. And the Prime Minister introduced me or reintroduced me to an oil. Y'all already know. It's that fennel. Now, I'm going to tell you, I was never a fan of fennel. My mom used to make me eat the fennel, like the fresh, it just tasted like licorice. I wasn't a fan. And for some reason, since I've gotten back from that retreat, I have to order a new bottle because I only have a few drops left, because I have just become a fan of this oil. And I'm still getting used to the smell, still smells like black licorice, but I definitely love the effects. I make sure when I get up in the morning and before I go to bed, I always put a few drops under my tongue. But fennel is the oil promoting responsibility. Now, I know you're like, well, I'm making a sacred bath. I don't know if I really want that in my bath. Yeah, that just sounds like a Debbie Downer, but it's not, because it helps support anyone who has lost their sense of self, who you are. Maybe you've had people tell you who you are for far too long, or maybe you've never had the opportunity to explore who you are. And we are all moving in cycles. So you are not the same today that you were last month. At least you shouldn't be. You are not the same as you were, 10 years ago. So fennel is the oil that helps you support your sense of self. It also helps those who are feeling defeated by life's responsibility, especially if you have little desire to change. And let's face it, at some point or another, we may have all experienced that. It's just like you just get down. Almost like I'm down and I can't get up. I don't really see anywhere way out. I'm just, once again, you're kind of stuck. Remember what we said about stagnation. And fennel helps with that. But the way in which fennel helps with that is it promotes you to take responsibility for your choices. So check this out. You're like, well, that really don't sound like something I want in my bath. But guess what? If you take responsibility for your choices, that means you now can make a different choice. So whatever choices or circumstances have brought you here, if you take responsibility for them, now you have the superpower to change them. And that's what fennel does for you. So it teaches you that life is not too big. It is not too much. It is absolutely within your power because you have choices. So fennel is our oil of responsibility. So we are going to get started. Really? I'm going to angle this. Yep, you can see that. So easy peasy here. We're going to add in our Epsom salt. That's 1 cup. I always have to break up Epsom salt. Mine feels like it's always a little. I live in Oregon, so there's lots of moisture. So I just feel like even when I open a brand new bag, there's clumps. So you're just going to break that up a little bit. I mean, you don't have to. You can stir them out, but I just break it up. And then I'm going to add another cup of my Himalayan pink salt. And you see what I mean when I said it just gives it a different texture. If I was doing this for somebody else, I would have on gloves, but I'm going to take a bath. So I don't have any gloves on. Once again, I'm still just kind of breaking up those clumps. That's more for aesthetics than anything. And then you have your bicarbonate soda or baking soda. There's half a cup of that. So we've had 1 cup of each of the salts and a half a cup of the baking soda. And you're just smoothing that out. Like I said, you just continue to smooth that out as you will. And let's see. I'm going to have to cheat just a little bit because I can't remember how many drops of each. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. I forgot one really important oil. Oh my gosh. I forgot the oil of truth. I forgot the frankincense oil. And let me tell you a little bit about frankincense because that is super important in this particular bath. I do apologize. Let me tell you about frankincense. As I said, frankincense, that's our oil of truth, and it reveals deceptions and false truth. Sometimes that's not a truth that somebody else told you. That might be a lie you're telling yourself. So if you're getting ready to release something, let's be real clear and real honest. This is not a time to start lying to yourself, because we'd rather have an ugly truth. An ugly truth that we're releasing than a pretty lie that we're holding on to. So frankincense is helping with deceptions and false truth. It invites you to let go of lower vibrations, lies, deceptions, and negativity. Helps to create new perspectives that are based on light and truth. It recalls to memory spiritual understandings, your spiritual gifts, and knowledge that the soul brought into the world. Isn't that beautiful? Didn't I tell you? You already have everything you need. You already came to this earth with everything you need. And one moment, I'm going to find how many drops of each. And honestly, really, you can kind of do it to your taste, but I had a little recipe that I used. And of course, I don't know what I did with it. One moment. Isn't it amazing? You can never find what you're looking for when you're looking for it. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. So, unfortunately, I didn't. Here I am. I'm just going to be putting my oils in here. I am going to put in 3 drops of frankincense and then 2 drops of the other oils. Because, I use doTERRA, so that's all it takes. And this is enough for a complete, wonderful bath. This is going to make over 2 cups of bath. And it really depends on, how much salt you want in your bath. And while I'm doing this, I wanted to tell you a little bit about this wonderful energy of the Gemini new moon. I have some notes here. So that is going to be, it is most active May 25th through June 4th. And this moon is about bringing new beginnings to our lives, occupied by Gemini. It is an air sign, so it rules things like ideas, communication. We just talked about communication and wit. Gemini is genuinely curious and likes to know a little bit about a lot of things, which makes the new moon a great time to follow whatever catches your attention. However, the new moon, it happens alongside the Jupiter-Mars conjunction in Aries, and in combination with the Gemini energy, we might find ourselves bombarded with enthusiasm over new interests and ideas, but the trick is going to be narrowing the focus and making sure that whatever new endeavors that we embark on, we're not being overzealous or grandiose. Because with the Gemini energy, the trouble is always on focusing and deciding that solid path. So, even though we can do everything, maybe we can't do it all at the same time or all at one time. And if you'll recall, one of these oils, lemon, helps us focus just on this one thing that's in front of us. So like I said, you would add 3 drops of the frankincense, 2 drops of the other oils. You would mix all that up. I love. Oh, and you're going to also add in about a tablespoon of your oil. This just gives, and you could add a little bit more if you like, an oilier bath. That's fine. I find that, especially if you're storing it, it clumps a little bit more when you add, a lot of oil. You may want to add, if you like an oily bath, you could add that right before you pour it in. Or if you're just making this to have right on hand, like you're making it and you're going to use it, you can do that. I also add flowers. I love adding flowers and crystals to my baths. These are just some rose petals that I dried. So I mix those in there. You can also just add them directly to the bath, but it just makes such a pretty bath. And flowers are so beautiful. And of course, we know that rose oil has the highest vibrational energy because that is the highest vibrational energy of love, and love has the highest. There is nothing greater than love. So I like adding rose petals to my bath because I always want to do whatever I'm doing to show as much love and gratitude to myself. And oh my stars, I got all kind of stuff in the chat. All righty. Are there any oils that should never be mixed together? Not to my knowledge. Now, there are some oils that you're not going to be putting in your bath for sure. So oils like oregano, cinnamon. If I'm going to add cinnamon to a bath, I add a cinnamon stick because they're hot oils. And what that means is like they could burn your skin. Like you can put them, if you've ever had, like when we were children, we used to have the cinnamon toothpicks and how hot they were on our tongue. All that was a toothpick soaked in cinnamon oil. I personally don't want that on any delicate parts of my body. So I don't put cinnamon oil. Some people do in their bath. I don't. Um, oh, sisters had to leave out. That's okay because this is all recorded. So, as I said, this is a great time for, exploring things. Just, because of that, Gemini energy, don't get caught in doing too many things. It's okay to try new things. Just you may want to, oh, absolutely. Gratitude, sister. Key in on one thing that you want to pour some energy into during this new moon. But please join us. Our new moon ceremony is on, I want to say the 30th. Please join us on the Ladies of the Light platform. And we will be having our moon ceremony with Sister Sarah and Mama Graciela and myself. And we'll go more in depth with that. So this is the end of our Sacred Bath workshop. Does anyone have any questions? May 30th. Yes, it is May 30th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which I think it's 10 on the East Coast, and everybody in the middle has to work out their time. But please join us. It is always so beautiful, so wonderful to have, the creative energy of all the goddesses there together. Are there any more questions or comments? Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm not sure what we're doing for Wellness Wednesday next week, but it will always be a good time. It will always be a grand circle. So absolutely, that cinnamon is no joke. But thank you so much for joining, and we will see you next time.